Hello and welcome back to my channel for the new FPL season. So this season I'm planning to play FPL a little bit differently because last year there were a lot of avoidable and stupid mistakes.
Pain, the absolute pain. Matty Cash, 17 points on my bench.
I transferred out Foden, missed out on the 20-pointer. Darwin, captaincy. Wow, that's very bold of you, Yelena. It was an accident, a complete accident. Now my main motivation in recent years has been to beat my FPL mini league rival, and this is very much reflected in my rank history. As you can see, every year I'd set up a team and then forget about it by Christmas. However, this changed in the 22-23 season when I joined a mini league with my FPL nemesis and I finished the season at 92k. This was something I was really proud of, but he beat me because he finished just under 33k. Last season came to a brutal end for me as I finished just outside the top 100k, but it was a lot worse for my FPL nemesis who finished around 2.5 million, which means he's out for blood this season. So I've got three main goals. Number one, and most importantly, to beat my FPL nemesis again. Number two, to try and get a top 50k finish. And number three, finding the balance between fun and sensible. Last season, my most fun game weeks were the ones where my punts did really well. Honourable mentions must go to John McGinn, Willian and Chris Wood. However, my worst weeks were the weeks where I went against the template just for the sake of being different and then the template prevailed. Dishonourable mentions must go to Foden and Burmo and then Foden again for that second hat-trick in which I transferred him out the game week before. My approach this time around is to start off quite sensibly, get a really solid foundation, and then hopefully that will give me some flexibility later on down the line to bring in some more fun picks. I'm also working with Fantasy Football Scout, which I'm really excited about, and they've got tons of useful tools to help me along the way. If you're keen to sign up, there is a link in my bio. That brings me to my current draft, which I haven't touched since setting my team up when the game launched. So I present to you my very early unofficial draft, which needs a lot of tweaking. I think this draft is relatively sensible. The only glaring omission really is the fact that there's no Haaland in there, but that can be tweaked later on in this video. Here I would say my fun picks are Brennan, Chris Wood and Andreas. I just think a fun pick is one where it's normally a differential and it's someone that just brings you joy when they score, they get an assist or just have some kind of attacking return. And there are others where they've got higher ownership and you just don't feel as excited when you do get those returns. So we'll just look into them in a bit more detail. Starting off with Brennan Johnson. So I've had a soft spot for him ever since his Forest days, but he got plenty of attacking returns last season as well, with 5 goals and 12 assists. His ownership is currently at 1.5%. So again, we're going for that differential. And he was one of the first transfers into my team this season, but with the signing of Solanke coming over to Spurs, I don't know how integral he's going to be to the squad, whether he's going to get as many minutes, what his position's going to be. So it may be that Brennan Johnson has to go out of my team. And then we have got, of course, another Forest legend, especially after last season, Chris Wood. The man was on fire last season. I do suspect he will only be a short-term pick because Awanai will be coming back and taking over that position, but I think he's going to be eased in gradually. So maybe for the first 3 game weeks, Chris Wood could be okay. But it will definitely not be a long term. He is in my team for the season. Last season saw Wood get 14 goals and 1 assist in just 20 starts. That's an average of 5.7 points per start, which is the most out of any Forest players. With an opening fixture at home against Bournemouth, I can definitely see him getting a brace in this one. Bournemouth conceded 67 goals last season, way more than their expected goals conceded of 58.84. Maybe Bournemouth will strengthen up a bit in defence, but I can definitely see Chris Wood scoring and a home fixture as well. First one of the season. I think it's a no-brainer. I really want to go for Chris Wood, but maybe I need to think more about saving my transfers. I could do a straight side swap, do Wood to Awanai when he's back and fully fit, but it seems like a bit of a waste. So Chris Wood, I really want to get in my team, but I don't know whether I'm going to be able to keep him in. And then finally, my final fun pick, we have got Andreas. I initially thought Andreas was going under the radar and I thought he was a really good first pick and no one else would have him and it would be a stroke of genius on my part. His ownership currently is only at 4.5%. However, with the signing of Smith Rowe, I think Andreas is going to be pushed into the shadows a little bit. Plus, for only 0.5 million more, you can go for Muniz up front and he's got way more attacking threat. So Andreas, another one where I was really excited about him, but I don't think he'll be staying in the team. The draft clearly needs changing. I need to take out some of my fun picks, hopefully replace them with ones that are equally as fun. And then also I want to bring in Haaland. So that brings me to my team selection. Let's begin with defence. So I will be honest, when I put this team together, I just shoved in 2 random goalkeepers. Obviously went for the highest scoring one, which is Pickford. I really did think I was going to stick with him, but I have got Mykolenko in that defensive spot. So I've already got that Everton defensive coverage. I feel okay taking out Pickford, and then I'm also going to be taking out Sanchez, replacing him with Fabianski, who's only 4 million and will probably just sit on my bench the whole time. But to replace Pickford, I am going to go for Raya. It's the cheapest way to get into Arsenal's defence at 5.5 million. He was the second highest scoring keeper after Pickford, and he kept 16 clean sheets in total. Even against the tougher teams, I'm hoping to get some save points from him. And whilst I would really like an Arsenal defender, at least I can still get the clean sheet points from Raya. So I'm feeling okay about that situation. Obviously, that means I'm going to be getting rid of Gabriel, and in his place, I'm going for Robinson at 4.5 million. So selling Gabriel for 6 million, getting a bit of a saving there. Fulham were really good defensively last season. Only Arsenal, Everton and City conceded less goals than them. Robinson has got really good attacking threat as well. He got 6 assists last season, which is 5th highest out of all defenders. He's also had 2 assists already in pre-season, which is, I know you shouldn't follow pre-season and say that this is what's going to happen when it comes to the actual Premier League, but I am doing it. I'm really excited about Robinson, so I've gone for him. Anderson is a pick that I'm largely happy with, don't really feel that strongly either way. He started in all 38 fixtures last season and picked up 2 goals and 3 assists in that time. I'm slightly tempted to save 0.5 million by downgrading him to Barco, but at the moment I think I'm going to stick with Anderson. Mikalenko, again, I want that Everton defence, so he can stay there. Vardiol, I'm a little bit torn over. He did save my team on more than one occasion last season, but I'm also a little bit nervous about Pep Roulette. I might try and find an extra 1 million and then I could upgrade to Trent Alexander-Arnold instead. But yeah, maybe watch this space on that one. And then Porro, I definitely want to keep. Spurs are very, very questionable defensively, but I'm not going for Porro for the clean sheet points. I'm going there for the attacking returns. Porro only kept 7 clean sheets last season, but he did get 3 goals and 8 assists. So I'm paying that higher price point purely for those attacking returns. And then coming into the midfield, this one I do not feel good about at all. And I've got a bit of a gut feeling that I shouldn't do it, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. I'm considering downgrading Gordon to Murphy. Murphy's very much a short-term pick, and I'll have to deal with that issue when it arises if he's not nailed in the squad. But for now, he's really impressed me in pre-season, getting 5 goals and 3 assists. As well as saving some money there, another thing that edges it for me slightly is Gordon's home record. Whilst I could really rely on him last season to get a attacking return at home, only half of the opening 6 fixtures are home fixtures, and he's playing against Southampton, Spurs and City. Whilst I don't doubt that Gordon can probably sneak a goal in, I think I'd rather take a risk on Murphy and just save that money. And then coming into Brennan Johnson, another one I'm really, really torn about. I said he was my fun pick and I was excited to have him in my team, but Solanke is now at Spurs and I think this may negatively impact Johnson. It does feel like a bit too much of a risk now. His minutes are questionable in the long term and I think there are probably some more nailed 6.5 million options. I could do a bit of a sideways move and go for his former teammate Morgan Gibbs-White. Ever since Nuno took over, Forest have looked a lot stronger, even though they did battle with the relegation last season. But Morgan Gibbs-White also returned to his favoured number 10 position, so I just think he looks like a much more attacking force this season. He was the highest scoring Forest player last season with 142 points in total, thanks to 5 goals and 12 assists, and he's first choice penalty taker, and he's absolutely nailed for minutes. So for 6.5 million, I think maybe Morgan Gibbs-White is a better way to go. Alternatively, I could try and save a little bit of money and either go with Rodgers, Minter or Bob. For now, I think I'm going to keep Brennan there because it's keeping the money secured rather than me just spending it on something ridiculous. But yeah, let me know who you think I should replace Brennan Johnson with in the comments, because I definitely think he needs replacing by someone, but I'm not quite sure who yet. And we've got Andreas. Now, I could just do a very simple swap and bring in Smith Rowe instead, but the fitness is a bit of a concern to me. I saw Smith Rowe make his debut for the team and he played 45 minutes and scored within 7 minutes of coming on, which is very, very good going. But I don't know whether I'm fully convinced that he's going to be able to play the full 90 and not pick up an injury. I'm not really sure what the signing means for Andreas' position and minutes as well, so I think I'm likely to go without a midfielder now. But instead, I think I'm going to go for a bit of a rogue pick, and this is probably counting on me not bringing in Morgan Gibbs-White, but I think I'm going to save a million and go for £4.5 million midfielder Sangari. This feels like a really, really fun punt, particularly as his ownership is only at 1.6%. After a really disappointing first season with Forest, he's looking a lot stronger in pre-season, and he scored a goal in their early fixture against Chesterfield. Then we have got Mo Salah at 12.5 million. He has eaten up so much of my budget, and I could save 5 million by going for Diaz or Jota. I'm quite tempted, I'll be honest. I'm not quite sure if I am there with spending so much money on Salah when Haaland is at 15 million this season. But for now, I think the logic I'm going to use is go for the more expensive picks at the start, and then if I need to, I can easily downgrade them to someone else, whereas trying to find the money for Salah if he absolutely goes off at the start of the season will be a lot harder and probably revolve around taking hits and just really ripping up the squad. But on the plus side with Salah, he made 30 goal contributions last season with an expected goal involvement of 28.36. That was from only 28 starts as well. So Liverpool's fixtures are also really appealing, particularly that opening game week when they face Ipswich, and I will be kicking myself if Mo Salah goes on a mad one and I don't have him in my team. His ownership is also quite high at 36%, so I think it's probably safer to go with him than without at this stage. And then we've got Eza, who has been there from the start. I'm not going to overthink this one, we're just going to leave him there. And then the front three. So Isak, out of this front three, is the only player I've been fully confident in the whole time. So he is staying there, he's staying put. Unless he gets injured, which, touch wood, that does not happen, he will be there for the foreseeable future. It really upsets me to have to take out Watkins, especially with such nice opening fixtures, but he needs to go to make way for Haaland. Similarly to Salah, I'm going to go for the option to bring in the most expensive player I can, and then I can easily downgrade. This could also be an excuse to replace Johnson with Rodgers, and that will give me the route into Villa's attack. And then we have got the dilemma of Chris Wood. I ended last season not sure whether or not to bring him in, and now I've got the same issue in game week 1. Part of me is actually quite tempted to just play him in game week 1 against Bournemouth and then use my transfer going into game week 2 to bring in Muniz to replace him when Fulham are playing Leicester at home, followed by Ipswich. Wood does play Southampton away in season 2 in game week 2, but with Awanai's return a bit of a lurking threat, I think he's probably going to be eased back into the squad and will eat into Wood's minutes. Muniz also has a huge attacking threat. He was Fulham's top scorer last season despite just having 18 starts. And then there is obviously a very big benefit to rolling a transfer this early on. But do I want to play that way? I don't think so. So I think maybe I will stick with Wood and do the game week 2 transfer. And then if I don't transfer him out game week 2, at least it is quite a nice fixture for Forest. I don't know, we'll see. So then this is how my team would look for game week 1. I can't say it fills me with a huge amount of confidence, and there's obviously a lack of Arsenal attack, and I'm really concerned about not having a Chelsea attacker as well. They have got their final pre-season games just after I finish recording this, so maybe that I will watch those and just have a complete rebrand with this team and try and bring in some more attackers. But I'm going to have a think about it over the next couple of days, and then I'll post my final game week 1 team selection later on in the week. As always, do let me know in the comments what suggestions you have for my team, and don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!